Hey guys, today we are creating the Staggered Stars bracelet, which is a gorgeous design. So many color possibilities. This cutie was designed by Sophie Lantz. She is not on social media. She actually emailed me and asked me to make this design. I was very happy to do so. I do want to call this a variation. It is very similar to the Hokie Pokie created by Loom Mama, and you can find that on Expert Loom's YouTube channel. There is a difference. Her version is one row smaller and it does not use the cone flower method. I have a cone flower bracelet where it has like the double layer of the stars, and that is what she used for this design. So with that being said, if you're using the megaloom, which is how I created these, you're going to need 465 bands. That includes 143 of the white, which also includes these fishtails, 161 of the blue, which is the first layer, and the second layer of the stars, you need 161 of those as well. So you would just divide that number by the number of colors you're going to use. So without babbling on and on, grab 3 C-clips, your bands, and we can get started. So to get started, you're going to grab your megaloom, or you're going to set up 7 bars in the same staggered position as me. We're going to start laying these white bands first, and I'm going to use black for that. We're going to be laying one loose one on each one of these pins in the front. So there should be 3 of them total, and that's for closing it later. Then we're going to start on this corner pin right here, and we're going to start zigzagging these bands, going from left to right, just going zigzag in and out. We're going to be doing this zigzag motion a lot, actually. Like that. Now we're going to lay some straight bands. Each band that is outwards gets a straight one on it. So in other words, starting on the outer pin, you're going to skip every other row and lay a straight one. There should be 4 total. And now we're going to do that zigzag step again from left to right. And this just closes off the top of that shape. So now we need to lay the straight bands again, and we're going to lay them on each one of these 3 points. So this time there will be 3 straight ones, like that. So now we need to do the zigzag motion again. Just come to where your last straight band ended, and act like you're going to lay a V. It's the best way to get this part started. And now you just continue zigzagging until you reach the right. So starting on the outer row, lay a straight one, and now lay a straight one on every other row, which will give you 4 straight ones, like this. We're going to zigzag again, starting from the left. So you guys need to actually keep alternating this until you have a total of 9 rows if you're using the megaloom. Each one of these rows of circles counts as a row. So you'll do it until you have 9 of them. If you're using the regular loom though, like a regular loom set up with 7 bars wide, you're only going to be able to lay 7 sections because there's less pins. And also because we have to end with 3 circles, that's another reason why you can only fit 7 rows on that one. So whether you go all the way down to the end of the loom or you don't, the looms are going to look exactly the same. So I'm going to actually finish this last one up so I finish with the row of 3. And that's all I'm going to lay just because the process is very repetitive. And the steps are going to be the same no matter how many rows I lay. So it'll just be a little bit faster. So I'm going to lay this last one, but you guys are going to keep laying yours until you have either 9 or 7 rows. And then we'll come back and I'll show you how to start filling them in. So before I jump off, this is what the end of yours will look like. It should end with those 3. So keep getting yours filled out and I'll meet you back here. So once all of your borders are laid, push them down a good bit and turn your loom around so the openings are facing yourself. We're going to start laying the stars, and there are 2 layers on each one, but we're going to start with the first layer, which is going to be the ones that sit on top. We're going to start on this upper left one. And we're going to lay 6 bands, and they're all going to connect to that center pin right there. So we're basically like filling out that circle. Once you do that, we need to place a triple cap band on the center pin. We're now going to go in and loop all 6 bands back to themselves, looping out of the cap band that we just laid. So push that down a good bit like I did, and we're going to lay a second layer right on top, which is going to be the blue, and it ends up sitting on the back side. So we need to lay it the same way, all 6 bands. Once you have them all laid, we're going to lay a cap band on the center, but this time it's going to be a regular cap band. So just wrap it twice. We're now going to go in and loop all 6 of those back to themselves. So now that we have 2 layers, we're going to flip over the first layer that we laid. So you're grabbing the 3rd and 4th band on each pin and flipping them up. This is what it should look like. So once you're done that, we need to repeat that process on the next circle. For this design, we can't just lay them all out at once. We have to lay it and loop it before we can move on to the next one. So that's why it does take a while. So we're going to go right here and start with our first layer, which for me is pink. And we're literally going to do the exact same process. Lay all 6 bands. You're going to lay a triple cap band on the center. And now you're going to loop them all out back to themselves. So I'm going to lay my second layer now, which is my blue, and we're going to lay it the same way, and then we're going to place a regular cap band on the center and then loop it out. So now we have 2 layers again, so we need to do the step where we flip over the first layer that we laid. So we're going to just grab the 3rd and 4th band on each one and flip them over. Even with this side here where there's multiple layers, you're just grabbing the 3rd and 4th band. Once you're done that one, push it down. And once you're done that, you're ready to move on to your last one of that row. And you're going to do the exact same process. So you have to do that to every single circle. So once you're done that one there, you come down to your next row. This row only has 2 circles, but just work left to right down each row. So I'm not going to keep doing it on screen because it is very repetitive, but I will put a little timestamp if you just need to rewind to watch how I did these 2. I'm going to do mine off screen and then I'll show you how to loop up the border. Alrighty, so hit the pause button until you get all of yours done. I know it's going to take a while. And once you're done, make sure everything is pushed down a good bit and grab 3 of your border colors. We're going to place a cap band on the very front 3 center pins where our bands end it. As I said earlier, I didn't go all the way down to the end of my loom. I just did enough rows so you guys can see how to actually loop the border. So we're going to start looping out of the same cap bands that we just laid, starting on the left one and then working to the right. We're basically going to loop it the same way we laid it. So we're going to push in here and we're going to grab the diagonal black and that goes to the left. Go back in and the next one goes to the right. You're going to do that for each one. Come to this cap band and do the same thing. Once you loop those out, now we have to loop the 4 straight ones. So where each one of those come together, we're going to loop a straight one. So it will be the outer row. And then right here where they come together. There is a lot of bands on this one, so you have to make sure you're getting the very bottom one. Okay, so now we need to loop the zigzag that's on that row. So where the top of each one of those black bands are, we're going to be going into each one of those and looping them up to these pins. So start from the left, grab the bottom band and loop it in, and then come to this pin. It's very crowded, and loop it in. Go back into that same pin, and this time it's going to come to this one. It's kind of hard to explain. It's just easier to watch. Should look like that. And now we're going to have 3 straight ones to loop up out of the ones that are coming together. And now we need to do that all over again. So from these 3 here, we're going to loop them out like a V like we did on the first row. It's hard to get a good angle. And now we're going to loop our 4 straight ones again. From the top of each one of those 4 black ones, we're going to loop them up to here. And then to here. From there, we have to loop these 3 straight. And we're going to continue looping these zigzags out and then the 4 straight. To finish off, we're going to go into each one of these 4 pins and bring it into these 3 middles. All right, hallelujah. I love doing tutorials, but this megaloom gave me such a hard time with this design. I don't know if it's my nails, but whew, I'm so glad we're done that. I just hope everyone could actually see what I was doing looping the border. All right, so we're just going to grab those loose bands at the top, and we're going to go in each pin, bring both ends together, and that's where you're going to C-clip them or easy clip. And then also keep in mind that you will have to add 3 either fishtail extensions or 3 chain extensions. So I'm going to get these clipped off, and I'm going to remove it from my loom. I did have a band break, but I kind of hit it, so you don't see it that much. But you guys are going to have a much bigger piece. If you need to know how to make fishtail or chain extensions, I will link a little video in the eye above and in the description box below. You'll have to make 3 of them like this, and then you'll be able to connect it to the cat bands on the other end. If you do need to actually fix any of these, like push them up more, you can just push from behind and it helps them pop up even more. And just a reminder, that is how you create the Staggered Stars bracelet, created by Sophie Lantz. A big thank you to her for sending this over. I cannot wait to see your guys' renditions. But that is going to be it for today, you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Thanks, guys. Bye.